On July 22, 2022, an argument between roommates breaks out inside the rental home of 65-year-old Terri Jo Williams. 8 years ago, Williams decided to sublet a room in the home to now 63-year-old James Edward Hicks, who has been her roommate ever since. She didn't know at the time just how seriously that decision would affect her quality and quantity of life. News sources out of Florida describe the argument between roommates as a result of Williams' request that Hicks move out immediately. Hicks refuses, and the argument escalates. Hicks flees to his bedroom, shuts the door behind him, and calls Pensacola police officer Austin Haswell on his direct line around 5 p.m. In the background, Officer Haswell can hear loud banging on the door. Hicks tells him Williams is hitting the door with a hammer. The officer self-dispatches to the shared home on Aqua Vista Drive, where he finds Hicks and gets his side of the story. Hicks claims Williams has hit him and damaged his glasses in the process. Inside, Hicks' bedroom door is missing. The officer inspects the home and notices a door, riddled with holes, removed from its hinges and lying on the floor in another room. The officer doesn't see any signs of physical injury to Hicks' body, and he can't seem to find any evidence of damage to his glasses either. But that doesn't stop him from making an arrest. Williams admits to striking the door with a hammer and removing it from its hinges. Officer Haswell interprets Williams' actions as an attempt to tamper with evidence of a crime. Williams is placed in handcuffs and taken to the Escambia County Jail to be booked. She's charged with 1 count of property damage and 1 count of destroying evidence, a third-degree felony. Following the arrest, Williams receives an additional charge of battery. Her court date is scheduled for 8:30 a.m. on August 12, 2022. The arrest report from that evening includes an interesting detail regarding Hicks and Williams' relationship. According to the officer, Hicks confirms the relationship is strictly platonic. The two are purely cohabitants. They have never been intimately involved. Less than a month later, on the day of Williams' scheduled arraignment, an already difficult day turns into a living nightmare. 12:01, a neighbor's outdoor security camera captures Williams returning to the home she shares with Hicks. She pulls her vehicle into the driveway and parks all the way at the top, nearest to the house. Just a minute later, the neighbor's camera captures movement by a person who appears to be wearing a piece of white clothing that cuts off at the knees. The movement continues for several minutes. Then, at 1:54 p.m., the Pensacola Police Department receives a 911 call reporting a possible cardiac arrest outside of a home on Aqua Vista Drive. Police arrive to find 65-year-old Terri Jo Williams face down in a water feature in her own front yard. She's wearing a bright pink t-shirt. Her roommate, James Edward Hicks, is the only other person known to be at the residence at the time of her death. A few days later, Hicks is brought in for questioning by Pensacola Police Detective Kramer and Detective Turney.
All right, so the reason you're here is I'm just trying to develop a timeline of what occurred. So I'm going to try to get you to think back and just go from start from when you woke up that morning.
Actually,
I want you to
start maybe 3 days before.
Okay, I want you to tell me everything that you can recall.
She was just in a down, depressed mode of how she let her family down. This is what happened the day of. She's embarrassed. She didn't know how she was going to look at her family no more. Just everything was, and I tried to cheer her up. Said, "You let one bad thing happen, it's going to be over with." Well, I have a criminal record for the rest of my life. I'm a criminal.
Hicks tells detectives that he found something they may want to see. Although the home he shares with Williams was a mess, covered with tequila bottles and Williams' scattered belongings, he discovered a possible piece of evidence in a laundry room trash can. He reaches into his pocket to pull out 2 torn pieces of paper.
Emptied out my dryer sheets. I found these on the bottom. This one was wadded up on top, and this one was on the bottom.
Okay. What am I looking at?
It looks like a note.
Okay.
When was it? When did you buy
this? I know, because I can read this one. I remember when that happened, when she says it's had a black eye, and she was with Mike. That was her boyfriend at the time. That happened before I had moved in. She had a bike wreck and ended up getting a big black eye.
And you moved in when?
I'm sorry?
When did you move in?
About 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So this has been a while back right here. That's the one I didn't know. I know that was a long time ago.
Okay,
Did
and
you,
they were,
did you show this to the officers that day?
No, I just found it last night
Oh,
on the
okay.
cleaner.
Gotcha. I thought we were going back 3 days.
3 days,
ago.
yeah, that's
Oh,
what I was
that.
trying to figure out.
I'm just leading up, because she was drinking every night. I was trying to tell her everything's going to be all right every night until the night before. And she didn't really say a whole lot. She was just so worried about going to court and just going to court. And then that morning, we got up. I made a cup of coffee. I made her some coffee. She didn't drink any. I hugged her. Told her I loved her. Everything was going to be okay. 10 o'clock, went back in my room. I'm going to take a nap for a couple hours. Woke up at 12:30. Went to the kitchen, grabbed a Gatorade, went back to my bedroom. Going to take a shower, go get me some lunch. I just didn't even know she was there because, she wasn't in her room. The cats wasn't around or anything like that. Normally, she's her cat mama. Looked out. I just cracked the door at 1 o'clock before I went into my shower. And you can see, there's just a crack there where you can see if her car is parked or not in the blinds. I saw her car parked there. I thought, oh, maybe she went to dinner with her brother or her sister or her dad. Went in, took my shower, got all clothed, came back out, locked my door, turned around and saw her face down in the pond. So I ran immediately, pulled her out, pulled her to the side, and performed CPR on her. So while I was doing that, there's a guy across the street. I didn't know what to do. I just, help.
Back in July, Hicks told Officer Haswell that his relationship with Williams was completely void of intimacy. They weren't romantic partners, they were roommates. Detectives Kramer and Turney think it's strange that Hicks says he kissed his roommate in a non-intimate way. Even more bizarre is the statement that on the day Williams died, he hugged her goodbye and told her, "I love you," before she left for an arraignment pertaining to charges he had pressed against her.
She was my best friend for a long time. A long time. It's hard to live at that home right now with, her cats. It's at night, those cats are just walking around. Why?
Has she communicated with you or you communicated with her during the day?
That day?
That day?
Oh, I texted her. You can see that. I said, "How's everything going? Are you okay? Give me a text." That's on my phone. That's the last text I sent to her.
When about was that?
About the time I went to bed, about 10:30, I guess.
So at 10:30. What did she say back?
Nothing. She didn't, nothing text back. I never got nothing back. Even when I got up at 12:31, I looked to see if there was still nothing.
So you're saying it was 10:30 at night that you sent the text, or 10:30 in the morning?
Yeah. I try to text her at least, make sure everything's okay once a day, because, she just has a lot of stuff going on. The main thing she could never get over with, and even her family knows that, is she had a 2-year-old son that they were out partying with her ex-husband. It happened in Georgia. And she let him have the boy, and they went on a canoe trip. And he ended up drowning, and they didn't find him for a long time. And anytime she ever drank, that was almost the first thing she ever brought up, was Jason. That was tough for her.
Gotcha. Well, how would your conversations go? Would they go back and forth on texting? Like she would answer you and tell you, "I'm okay"?
Once in a great while, she'd say, "Hey, everything's okay at Dad's," whatever. Headed to Dad's, something like that.
But her responses were short.
Oh, yeah. You'll see when you look at the phone.
How was y'all's relationship?
I thought we had a good relationship, but she had a drinking problem. I had nowhere to, she understood that. I had nowhere to go. I put up with a lot of her crap, and she knew that. That wasn't, been 4 or 5 times where I left one time about 4 years ago, just because she would get really angry. She had anger problems, really, well. That's not the first time, that's the second time an officer came out. First time, she just went, I don't even know. She got a text. This is what's crazy. She got a text, and it was some text from, I guess, a site, but it came from a conversation. I hope it, whatever, if you look through her phone. But she blamed me. She goes, "What is this? Did you send this to me? This is about some girl being..." I was like, "I have no idea." That happened twice. The first time I said, "Please let me have your phone so I can show you that number where it came from." It didn't come from my number. She let me do that, and she realized that. Well, before the door incident, the day before, she got another one of those crazy texts.
Did the officer tell you why he had to arrest her? Did the officer tell you why he had to arrest her for the door?
Well, for assault, one, because I did not do anything. She hit me a couple times with water bottles, knocked my glasses off. I had my phone in my hand. She took it, and she tried to break it. Thank God it landed on the carpet. But I don't know what they got her for, actually. I know they got her for tampering with evidence.
Yeah.
And,
I'm just curious, because if you said you didn't want her arrested, then he wouldn't have arrested her, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. No,
Unless you had told him that y'all were a couple.
There's anger there, man. Total hardcore anger there. So he knew.
Gotcha.
So you say that you and her were, the entire time that y'all known each other, were never intimate?
No.
Never had any kind of
I've
sexual
kissed her before, but it wasn't an intimate kiss. It's just like going to Georgia. Please take care. And I loved her. I can't say, despite how she treated me, I lived there so long that sometimes you feel sorry for a person. You try to make them right. She had a big time drinking problem and had other stuff going on.
But y'all never had sexual intercourse or anything like that?
God, no.
I mean, we don't care if you did, but I was under the assumption y'all were like a friends with benefits
That's all we
long
were.
term.
No.
Just,
Just best friends.
Detectives want to learn more about what happened when Hicks allegedly found his best friend face down in a water feature in their front yard.
When you walked outside, exactly where she was, because when we got there, obviously.
Can I draw a picture and show you this? Do one for the other officers. I'm sure they got that. Okay, this is that little pond area.
Yes, sir.
Her legs were like this. And her arm, and her purse was in there, and her keys were in there. Here's my door. I ran.
Gotcha. How was her face when you ran up to her? Where was her face at?
Oh, God.
Was it face down? Was it sideways? It was face down? Completely face down?
The water, she was just only, the water about like that. Just.
I'm sorry. But this is why we're here.
It's absolutely horrifying.
I know this is painful, but this is what I need to discuss with you. Can you describe to me how you went about pulling her out?
I grabbed a pack of her shirt. I turned her over. Got her on her side. I kind of moved her ribs a little bit, and water started coming out. And I looked at her face. Her lips were blue. So I turned her over, held her nose, started doing some CPR. I saw some people cross the street. I just screamed, "Help me." He started doing the compressions. I started until the ambulance got there, probably 15 minutes. Enough. So then they work on her for a long time. They tell me nothing could happen, be done.
Okay. Where were you at in reference to your drawing? If this is your front door, to where you and the gentleman, the neighbor, was doing the CPR?
No, actually, this neighbor. Okay, here's. You probably saw the street was right there. It looked like they were doing landscaping, but it was right over there in this house. It was a pickup. His wife was in the car, and he was standing outside here when I looked up and I pulled her out.
Where were you doing CPR?
I was right here giving CPR, right there.
Hicks' drawing serves as a clear depiction of his version of events. Soon, it becomes clear that everything Hicks has provided detectives, the hand-drawn map of what took place that afternoon, and the 2 notes, actually conflicts with evidence found at the scene.
So you emptied that trash out,
Yes, I emptied.
and that's where you found them?
Yes.
In the bottom of that trash can?
Yes.
Okay. Did you understand that before? Because I didn't. I thought he was talking about in the bottom of the dryer sheet box. Because you said box.
No. Like I just said, my whole house is totally trashed, but I still have to empty my trash, clean my bathrooms, and do all that other. So when I pulled that blue trash can out, I emptied all those dryer sheets into my kitchen, and I saw that one first. So I was like, I don't remember. Oh, no, that was before I moved there, and then that was wadded up underneath.
But that's a long time ago, 7 years ago.
This was a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
We don't have a clue when that one was.
No, this was a long time ago. Exactly. But she got a notebook right by, like I said, she writes stuff down all the
Where's
time.
that notebook at right now?
I have no idea. I really don't. I'm sure they got it.
So the reason I
Actually,
asked
that
is,
notebook was in, I think, her room whenever the officers went in and did a whole sweep of everything.
so she's had that same notebook for 7 years?
Probably. She's got, man, you have no idea.
Well, the reason why I ask is, to me, this appears to be from the same, like this is ripped, obviously, but appears to be from the same
Yes.
notepad, right?
She's got a ton of
So
notepads.
if this one was 7 years ago,
Yes.
and then,
I don't know when that one
right,
was.
but we need to know when.
I'm sorry?
We need to know when.
Absolutely.
So the notepad, where did it normally sit? In her bedroom? Or
It's normally out back. It was in her bedroom. She just wrote down stuff, like a little diary sometimes, you know.
is there any chance that you found this anyplace other than the trash can,
No, sir.
and you're trying to
No,
protect
sir.
anything,
Oh,
or
absolutely
privacy
not.
or anything like that? Well, you understand why I would ask that, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think happened?
After all of that, I think that maybe she was embarrassed about her family, because her family means everything to her. I mean, everything. And I don't know what the verdict was, so that might have had something to do with it. If she got put in jail, she had a $1,000 fine, I don't know. But I think she possibly went to that pond and just did something stupid.
Like what? You think she tried to drown herself? Are you saying that you think she drowned herself?
I don't know what she did. I hate to think of that, but after seeing, everything and the way she's been the last few weeks,
Well, you know her better than any of us.
I know.
So
That's what I'm saying. I try to
that's why I'm
help her
asking
in
you.
every way, shape, or form. I'm trying to tell you all that. And sometimes you just can't help somebody that's already reached to a point
Right.
that I don't know. I tried to help her in every way I could. Every way.
But you specifically said that she may have knelt down by that pond and did something stupid.
So this,
So
that
by-
picture kind of shows
By something stupid, what do you think she would have done?
That's what
no, I hope that she didn't commit. Is what I think.
How?
That's what we're asking.
I guess laying in the, I don't know, I guess laying in the pond.
But I mean, you realize how hard it would be for somebody to drown themselves, especially in that
Absolutely.
little thing. So
What's the toxicology? Does she have anything in her?
Based on the torn pieces of paper Hicks brought in and his statement that Terri Jo Williams has been struggling emotionally on top of her drinking problem, it seems that he wants police to believe her death was self-inflicted.
The way I've heard her talk, I just hope she didn't commit.
How?
Based
Has
on
she,
Just doing
has
what
she
she did.
mentioned how she planned on doing it?
No, just doing what she did.
if she did commit, based on how you found her, how do you think that she did it?
I honestly don't know how she did it. I just know I found her like that. She could have been kneeling at that pond. I just came out and found her. I don't know how it got to that point. I was hoping somebody in the neighborhood would have some of the doorbell stuff going on, you know, so they could film and see what happened.
Hicks's wish that a neighbor's security camera captured what happened ends up being granted. The footage of someone in white clothing moving around the yard helps police piece together what they think occurred on Aqua Vista Drive that afternoon, and it doesn't look good for James Edward Hicks.
Man, this is my worst nightmare. I don't get it either. All I did was find her. I don't understand. I'm trying to, you know, I know over years.
We don't understand either, but you understand why we're asking these questions.
Absolutely. I'm not.
I'm just making sure, because
I want to know.
she was alive, went to court that morning. She's dead,
Yes.
and you're the only person that we know of that has put hands on her until your neighbor got there with you.
No.
Between them.
I was trying to save her, man.
Well,
I would never do that.
No. I'm not trying to indicate that I believe that you did anything to her. I'm just saying you're the only person that we know that have touched her since court and her being dead. You see what I'm saying? So we're just trying to figure out exactly what happened.
So the medical examiner wants this so that they can help determine the cause of death. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get you to break down as best you can how she was, where she was, position of her body, so that she can look at what she sees and listen to what you say and get it all aligned together.
Once the data from Hicks's phone is downloaded and the medical examiner's determination is in, detectives bring him back for a second interview. By now, detectives have also spoken with Williams' siblings and adult children. According to them, Hicks was in love with Williams, and Pensacola detectives know too well the fine line that exists between love and murder.
She was never my lover.
Well, Terri was a very private girl, but they all really believe that y'all are a couple.
No,
Why would they think
I
that?
have no idea, because we never were. Maybe unless Terri might have said something like she dreamed up, but we never.
Even the sons, they really thought that y'all were a couple. They really did.
You gotta be kidding me.
No. And I'm just
They
trying
never
curious
were around. They don't even know
how that disconnect got between.
I never was a couple with her. Ever. Never ever.
Describe to me what you mean by you really loved her.
I loved her as a person, because when she was kind and nice, when she wasn't drinking and getting belligerent, she was a good person. You know, she helped people. She loved kids. But alcohol took over her life. That's just the bottom line. Alcohol literally took over her life.
So your thought is for sure that she went down there and herself, and that it's not some natural
After
thing.
thinking, there's no other, what else? I don't know any way it could have happened. I have no other way it could have happened. I think she went down there, took her some pills or whatever she took, and
So you think the way she did it was taking some pills and
possibly,
and then what?
and just sat there and fell in the pool or fell in the pond.
Has she ever hung out by that pond before?
That was the landlord's baby, so she took care of that pond. The landlord wanted, actually, that pond should be full because the landlord always wanted to fill up with water, you know.
But my question is, does she go out there and hang out by it
I've
and
never seen
pray
her.
next to
Oh,
it
and
or
just
anything?
put water in and to take care of the water lilies and the yard. I've never seen her just sit there and, you know.
Well, why would that be a certain spot where she would go kneel
I
next to?
have no idea.
So have you ever seen her like take pills in excess when she was drinking?
I've never seen her take pills. I've seen her, the pill bottles. She don't take pills in front of me. She takes her medicine. All she ever has seen her do is drink big time in front of me. I've never, you know, didn't sit around watching her take pills. But you've seen well, you didn't. Hopefully that they were in that gray trash bag back there. But all those pill bottles that they took out of there, a ton of them. And besides what you all have, I don't know what she was taking. I don't know what she was prescribed to. I know she had anxiety medicine. She had 3 or 4 of them, you know.
The pill theory is a new one, or at least one Hicks failed to mention in his last interview. Between conversations with Hicks, detectives have also spoken to the neighbor who helped with CPR. His statement contradicts the story Hicks previously told detectives.
When y'all were doing the CPR, you talked to him. Do you remember what you told him?
No. I don't even know. I might ask you why why. I was just...
All right. The reason I asked that is because he said that you went inside to take a shower and she was going to get cigarettes. That's what he said you told him.
No,
That was his
that's
recollection.
not how it... No.
And you didn't know what happened to her. You just came outside and there she was.
What happened is what I told you originally.
Okay.
I don't know what he's talking about with cigarettes. I have no idea, because that did not happen, and that statement should have not even happened. I can't...
What statement shouldn't have happened?
That's cigarettes. I didn't say nothing about cigarettes. I came out, looked at the car, turned back around, and that's what happened. And as you can see, as heavy as that statue was, trying to scoot it over to get out of the way, it fell over and broke into 2 pieces.
Gotcha.
So when did you try to scoot that over?
As soon as I got Star, I mean, it was right in the way. I mean, I couldn't pull her out unless that statue got out of the way. So I scooted it out of the way and pulled her out, put her on her side.
Gotcha. The next question is, yesterday, you brought me a note. This note.
Yes, sir. I don't know when that was written. I have no idea.
That's
I
okay.
do know when, the other one was, because I just know I wasn't there. I don't have no idea when that was written.
Okay. Let's go over the note again. Where did you locate this note?
In that blue trash can right by the dryer. I was going to go in and tell everybody I know yours.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it to us because it's information we needed to read. Blue trash can by dryer. All right. Ed, listen to me. I need you to be very honest with me, okay?
Sir.
I understand that you feel that she committed, all right? But this wasn't in the blue trash can in the dryer. So I want you to be honest with me. And
That was by the dryer. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't want you to, don't try to change my word or anything. That was with the other note at the dryer sheets, and they had some bills on the bottom.
Listen, he's not changing his words. He's not changing your words. He's describing to you this note. You're not being truthful with us about how you located this note.
No, I am
And
positive.
we need to know why. I think he's about to show you pictures of why we're saying what we're saying.
this was the crime scene photo the day it happened.
Yeah,
They went inside and they found that.
and the rest of it I found in the trash. So whether
This is
they're-
the note. This is the exact same note. Identical note.
Yes.
Even down to the little M.
yes, all I can say is I found that.
It
I
was-
don't know what anything else about it.
This
I
note,
found that note and this note. That's all I found.
let's back up. I just need to know where you found it because at this point, after she had passed away, it was in her bedroom still in the binder.
Exactly.
How did it
I
get
don't know.
The crime scene photo Detective Kramer shares with Hicks shows the note before it was ripped. It's still in Williams' notebook, fully intact, and dated years before her death. Williams was already deceased when investigators took the photo, so someone else must have ripped the note and removed it. Detectives wonder if Hicks is trying to frame the note as a goodbye from Williams.
But do you recall the context that you gave us this note?
What's that?
Do you recall the context that you gave us this note?
We were discussing how she died and you pulled this out.
You said she committed. You got your wallet out. You laid this and another piece of paper
I
out.
found those, man.
Right.
I found them.
I
I don't know how all of that
But
happened.
pull that back up, please.
We know you found it, and it's okay that you found it.
You're saying I'm not being honest with you, though.
Because it's not possible
Read,
that
read
this,
the bottom. Read the part that is ripped off of there.
Oh, wow.
What does it say?
It says, okay, maybe it doesn't help. Jason died yesterday.
So she's going through this. Maybe I should kill myself. Blah blah blah. And then the Jason died.
All I can tell you, man, is I found...
But you understand what I'm saying?
I understand completely, but all I can tell you is...
So you removed the part. So you included the part where I'm going to kill myself, and then you removed the part where it says, "Oh,
I
never
touched
mind."
nothing. I did not touch nothing. I found those in the trash. I am telling you the honest to God's truth.
Well,
I didn't
explain
do
how that
nothing.
happened.
I have no idea. Her family was in there cleaning stuff out. There was a lot of stuff in there. I don't know what happened with anything.
So the way that we should go with this investigation is that the family pulled this note
I
out,
don't know.
ripped the part of Jason
I
out,
have no idea.
went to the blue trash can in the laundry room, removed all of the garbage out of it, put this and that other note in the bottom, and then put the stuff back in.
No.
was the
But that's what you're saying.
No.
If
I
you
don't
didn't
know-
do,
I don't
if you
know
didn't
what
rip this
happened.
note out and do
I
this,
don't know what happened. I'm just saying that's how I found those notes.
Despite the clear evidence detectives present to Hicks, he continues to claim that Williams had thoughts of taking her own life.
did she tell you that she wanted to die?
A few times.
Did she ask you to help her?
Oh my God, no. And I would not even think about that. That's sick.
Something happened.
Absolutely. And
and I think
all I can
something
tell you is
happened
I
that day.
found her, man.
I think something happened that day, and whether it was accidental or whether it was intentional,
Oh no.
I think you know what happened, and
Nothing. No.
we just
man.
want you to tell us why it happened.
I don't
And
know.
you can justify
No,
it. That's
there's-
great, but we got to understand why this happened.
I understand that. I don't. All I did.
She's an angry person. She's a violent person, and if you
Oh my
defended
God, I
yourself,
would never.
Listen,
let us
her
know.
son,
No.
her son Kevin
I'm
told us
not
that she's
like
violent.
that. I would never.
Listen,
No.
you may not have had a choice.
Oh no. I'm not that person, man.
You're not the person that'll defend yourself, and then
Defend
accidents happen.
myself? No, there's no accident like that. Oh my God.
It wouldn't
That's
take much.
murder, man.
She's not if you're defending yourself.
Hicks refuses to take responsibility for any part of Williams' death. So detectives share with him another impossibility. According to the medical examiner's findings, there's no way Williams could have drowned.
Here's where we're at. She was killed, and somebody killed her.
No.
She didn't
Yes.
drown, Ed. She didn't drown.
There's no water in her lungs. There's no water in her sinuses.
She didn't drown.
She didn't drown.
What's the toxicology report read?
There's no toxicology.
You don't do that?
Yes.
What?
The
There's
findings
no
were,
way, man.
The findings were
No,
that she
there's
suffocated.
no way. I did not do that. I found her.
But
You guys are trying to
found
make-
her.
Ed, we're
I
not
didn't
trying to
do
make
that.
anything.
I
We're putting
promise you,
together
I-
evidence. We've laid the evidence that we have out to you.
Absolutely. And I
I'm
did
telling
nothing.
you, we're going to find either your fingerprints or DNA on that vehicle. We're going to.
Please.
We're going to find your DNA probably on
That's
that
okay.
pill bottle.
Whatever
You
gotta
see
do.
what I'm saying?
Yes. Do whatever you got
What
to do.
I want to know is the explanation.
But that's something Hicks isn't willing to share. So Detective Turney comes forth with one more piece of evidence. He tells Hicks that his wish came true. A neighbor's camera did capture part of what happened that afternoon on Aqua Vista Drive.
Because we can see on the video, right, through the yard, we can see a confrontation.
Oh, you cannot. Show me.
We
Show
can
me.
we can see
Show
a
me.
confrontation.
Please show me.
You'll have your time to see it.
I want to see
But
it.
we can see a confrontation.
I want to see it.
Do you understand
That
what I'm
didn't
telling you?
happen. No, that did not happen.
So
I want to see it.
Hicks would likely get to see the footage, but not in the interrogation room. He'd be in front of many more people, including Williams' family, a team of prosecutors, and a judge. Hicks was arrested after the autopsy report listed Williams' cause of death as homicidal violence. The report showed not only that Williams did not die from drowning, but that she was killed by asphyxiation. Williams also suffered from bruising on her neck injuries on her arms, and 4 broken ribs. After his arrest, Hicks was booked at the Escambia County Jail where he awaited trial. The trial finally took place in May of 2024. The defense asked a medical examiner from another county, Dr. Craig Malik, to testify about his own conclusion as to Williams' cause of death. The jury learned that Williams' blood alcohol content was over twice the legal limit. According to Hicks's defense team, she also had cannabis and amphetamine in her system. The jury wasn't swayed. The prosecution was able to prove that Williams was strangled to death, her body left in a water feature outside of her home. In a conversation with Law and Crime, Detective Kramer describes the case as largely circumstantial. He says this case had no DNA, no confession, and no actual video of Hicks killing her for a slam dunk. Instead, it was a bunch of little things that added up to Hicks' arrest and later his conviction. The video from a neighbor's security camera played a key role in Hicks' conviction. Although the camera didn't capture clear footage of the actual murder, Detective Kramer explains that it did show something the jury agreed was most likely the murder. Another of those little things that helped convict Hicks was a 911 call Detective Kramer said Williams made to the Pensacola Police Department just a week before her death. In this interrogation, Hicks paints Williams as disturbed and violent, but evidence shows she was trying to separate herself from Hicks. James Edward Hicks was convicted of the second-degree murder of his roommate Terri Jo Williams. The 63-year-old was booked in the Northwest Florida Reception Center Annex on August 14, 2024, where he'll live out the rest of his natural life.